This is the Voice of the Land podcast.
But the Browns and Jeremy Fowler of ESPN has been doing these collections and basically getting research from GMs, coaches around the league of
executives.
Who are the top players by position? And quarterback, in terms of Browns, Baker did not make that list. But you have Odell Beckham Jr., number 4 on the wide receiver list. Nick Chubb, number 7 on the running back list. Did you get a chance to really dive into some of these lists, Paulus, and just kind of where the Browns or some of the top talent that we know we have on this team, where they ended up on this on these lists? Surprising, underrated, overrated? How did you see it?
So, first off, I want to say I think it's 100% ridiculous that Nick Chubb was number 7.
Yeah, he's at least a top 5 running back in this league, if not top 3.
I think he's a top 5. I think he's a top 5 running back. Now, I mean, is 7 that far away from 5?
No.
It's not like they put him 15th. It's nothing like that. It's not that ridiculous, okay? But I do think it is a little shameful to put him at 7 for the workload that he's had over the last 2 years. I mean, I think that it shows in bunches that how great he is and how meaningful he is, for us, on this team. I thought Odell being number 4 and getting a number 1 vote. I think he got a couple of number 1 votes actually. I thought that was like very, very surprising. Because as of right now, I mean, his production over the last couple of years doesn't deserve number 1 votes. No, I want to be 100% honest with that. I love Odell. Him being a Browns player and him coming out this past week saying that the trade was the best thing that ever happened for him. I love that about Odell and in the fact that he is actually embracing us now and not just saying like, oh, New York sent me here to die. He's not saying that stuff again. He's like, you know what, this is actually a good thing for me. Once again, Odell being a number 4 wide receiver, I don't know. I think that there's others that you could probably put up there for that. But
based on talent level, you would
and you know what,
he hasn't produced.
If that's what the mindset is, then that's fine. I mean, he is a top 5 talented wide receiver.
Yes.
I mean, he doesn't have the prototypical size like even like an AJ Green or someone. He's not 6 foot
above.
Right, he's not 6'3", 220 pounds. He's not Julio Jones. He's not like that. But I mean, the guy's 5'11", has been one of probably top 3 hands in the game. Speed, the explosion, everything for that. I did want to jump into the running backs though.
Okay.
So I have this pulled up as of right now. Here we go. So Saquon Barkley was number 1 on this list, which I would put Christian McCaffrey, who's at number 2, ahead of him.
It's his calves that got him at number 1.
Probably. Those thighs. Those thighs run for days.
But I know he was hurt last year.
Yeah.
But like the hype to him and now having injuries as a running back.
Saquon Barkley. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian McCaffrey is definitely number 1 in my book. And
I think
I should have taken number 1 in fantasy last year over Saquon. You didn't anticipate injuries, but that's how fantasy goes.
Of course. But, so let me give you the top 5. They have Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, Zeke Elliott at 3, Alvin Kamara, and Derrick Henry. Okay. And then who else is ahead of him? Dalvin Cook, which to me, I don't think Dalvin Cook should be ahead of Nick Chubb.
No.
Seeing as, his offensive coordinator is now working with us.
Right.
I think Nick Chubb is better than Dalvin Cook immediately, no matter what. Dalvin has great hands. Okay. That's fine. And he's quick. He can cut, but the guy's not consistently healthy. He gets injured all the damn time. Nick Chubb never leaves the field. Nick Chubb, if Freddie Kitchens gave him the ball 35 times a game, like I wanted him to last year, we would have been 11-5 and would have been okay. Freddie'd still have a job. If he gave the ball to Nick Chubb more.
Yeah.
It is a damn shame that, that those players, that some of those players are ahead of him. Because once again, I think he's better than Dalvin Cook. I think that he's better than Alvin Kamara. As of right now, I think he's better than him. Zeke Elliott, I don't know. I kind of view him as being right around there.
Who are your top 5 running backs?
My top 5 running backs, I have in no particular order: Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley. I do have Nick Chubb. I have Derrick Henry, and I'll probably throw in Zeke.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those are probably the better, the better ones. To finish out the top 10, after Nick Chubb at 7, it was Joe Mixon, who I like Joe Mixon a lot. Josh Jacobs, a little high on the list, I thought, but he's a good player. He's had a great rookie year for the Raiders. And Lev Bell, who you always forget is still in the league, but it's because he plays for the Jets, and the Jets are god awful.
Yeah.
They never put an offense around Sam Darnold, which is going to kill Sam Darnold. They don't have the offensive line, they don't have the offensive weapons. I really don't know what the Jets are doing
and
now.
As bad as the Jets are,
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell has the advantage of at least still being in the conversation or getting noticed because he plays in New York.
Right.
My top 5 to 1, and I have this in order. Unlike some of our top 5s we do at the end of these shows, I actually have an order. 5, Saquon Barkley. The quad's got to match, or the production's got to match.
5.
I have him at 5.
Wow. Okay.
Because the production has to match the quads, because he can easily jump within the first 4 weeks of the NFL season from 5 to 2 or 1,
Sure.
being back in that conversation between McCaffrey and himself.
Okay.
By getting that production and showing that last year injuries were just a fluke, and that he is that guy you saw his rookie year to basically lead the whole Giants offense and be able to carry him on his quads. Not carry him on his back,
Right.
carry him on his quads. Then at number 4, I have Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Just because the way that he was able to lead the Titans and those playoff performances and getting into that point, I know that, people didn't like that he got the rushing title and got enough yards to get the rushing title last year.
Yeah.
But he earned it, and he was a
He's
Titans team
he's a great player. I think he's one of the best December running backs I've ever seen, because from the production from September to November, it's okay. I mean, he's getting
and he's one of those
70,
Alabama
80 yards,
running backs.
Right, he's getting 70 to 80 yards a game, and you're like, okay, cool. But December hits and people are tired. He just keeps churning it out, and he is a phenomenal runner in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. The Alabama running backs get overrated coming into the league, but they find their niche in the league, like
some of them.
Like
not Trent Richardson.
Well, not Trent Richardson, but who's in Baltimore now, was like saying like big
Ingram.
Mark
Ingram.
Mark Ingram, who was with the Saints and then moved on the Ravens. He wasn't great in the beginning, but he's kind of found that niche and been able to.
He's a complimentary back, and he is great in Baltimore.
Yes.
What they ask from him in Baltimore is perfect.
Yes. Number 3, Nick Chubb. Okay. I have him as a top 3 running back in this league because he can do it all. He can hit you with the power game up the middle. He can get outside with the speed. We've seen those long runs. He can definitely catch the ball out of the backfield. Had a couple fumbles last year, basically in one game against New England, and those couple plays really hurt them,
of course,
in that game. Number 2, I have Zeke Elliott, because I think even though he has been a little bit different than he was at Ohio State, he's still that powerful running back that can, again, do it all.
He runs that offense.
And he's that quintessential new NFL running back to kind of get involved in the pass game, but also hit you with that run and break down and wear down a defense with just being able to hit the hole. And having a great offensive line in Dallas has helped. But you saw what he did with a great offensive line at Ohio State too. All he needed was that little crease, and he was gone, or he was going to run people over. And at number
85 yards through the heart of the South.
Yes. And at number 1, and who knows what the Panthers will look like, but Christian McCaffrey is the number 1 running back right now in the NFL, and probably going to be, again, a top pick in fantasy football drafts. A lot of people are even starting to have those. I don't even want to look at that yet, because I don't.
It's way too early for that. Don't get me wrong.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
I start August. Like August 1st, I start doing, all of the different fantasy mock drafts and everything like that. I don't touch it until then, because everything's fake at that point in time. Because whenever the training camps start happening, people get injured.
Yep.
And then you got to look into account of everything that happens then. I normally don't do anything until preseason game 3.
Yeah.
After preseason game 3, and then we start looking. We're not going to have that this year. This whole year is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for fantasy football.
I'm not going to know when to, if there is an NFL season, I'm not going to know when to draft, because I'm usually drafting around that same time.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no games to really help me in determining who I should pick, and, kind of those underrated guys. one thing that when we had Matt kind of fill in for you the 1 week, one thing I made sure I didn't really get into because he likes to talk about his fantasy football team was how they've already had their dynasty draft because they have their teams, and you can basically dynasty leagues. You're trading all year round. You're collecting these draft picks and stuff, and then you just draft the rookies the next year once you've started a dynasty league, so that you add the new player pool into your team. They already had their rookie in there's like a limited pool of talent that you're going from, so it wouldn't take as much time. They already had their rookie dynasty draft when I'm not even thinking about doing a mock draft yet. And I think even Jay, Always Positive Jay, has done. He said he's done 200 mock drafts, and he wants to do 1,000 or something before. It's like I've stopped trying to prepare ever since I lost brackets to a 7-year-old, and when it become when these fantasy things come down to a crapshoot, and just people that may not put as much attention to it, and there's luck involved.
And I'm not gonna lie, whenever it comes down to these fantasy drafts and everything that we do, last year you weren't able to make our fantasy draft, but I was ripping on
just preparing for virtual.
Exactly. I was very true. But our good friend Bill Lewis, shout out. Hope you're listening and watching. But I ripped on his draft. I was like, oh, you took Derrick Henry. What an idiotic pick that was. Lamar Jackson in the 5th. Oh my God. Right. And then he ends up tearing up the league and dominated. I mean, it is one of those things where it's like, who knows? Right. At this point in time, I've won one league, 2 leagues, I should say. But who the hell knows what's going on? You'll get your chance one of these days.
I just want a belt. Right. That's all I want. I see all these leagues with the championship belts.